Hey everyone, it's a pleasure being here today and presenting to you the work that we have been doing over the past years in the field of predictive maintenance. I'm Giorgio and I work as an AI team lead at Stratio. We work mainly in the field of anomaly detection and model development. And I'm joined today by my colleague Luís.
Hi everyone, so my name is Luís Rosário and I'm a machine learning engineer here at Stratio. I've been with the company for just over 2.5 years, working mainly on model productization and general model maintenance alongside with other data scientists and data engineers.
Thank you very much. So today we'd like to tell you a little bit about our predictive maintenance strategy at Stratio and how we build a general machine learning framework to detect anomalies in the automotive sector. Let me just give you a brief overview of what is Stratio mission. So Stratio is a early warning system product, particularly suited for public transport operators and commercial vehicles. And what I mean by that is for buses and trucks. The main product consists of AI models and analytics to predict and identify future faults and breakdowns within those vehicles. The idea is to try to detect faulty patterns as soon as possible and to prevent breakdowns and the costs associated with that, and to help essentially fleet management systems to reduce downtime. In this talk, we would like to present to you the main predictive maintenance strategy of Stratio, and in particular what we built in the AI team over the past years. There is a general machine learning framework for anomaly detection. This system can work across different type of vehicles, different type of components and system within the vehicles. Of course, we want to highlight the challenges and opportunities in building early warning system. And finally, we'll also go through our infrastructures and the tools that we use to build a scalable machine learning product. Okay, let's go into the details of our main Stratio anomaly detection framework. And to be able to do that, let's be on the same page, okay? So let me remind you, what do we mean when we talk about anomalies? So in a dataset, an anomaly refers to a data point or an observation that is significantly different from the expected pattern or behavior of that certain dataset. And this already let us understand that to define what is an anomaly, we need to define what is the standard behavior that we expect from something, from a sensor or from a component, right? And this is not always trivial. But there is this relationship between defining what is the standard behavior and then defining what is an anomaly. And what we want to do is to use machine learning models to detect anomalies, and in particular to detect failures in mechanical and electronic systems. So our framework that we develop over time at Stratio works as an unsupervised model. As you know, in machine learning, we have many types of models, of course, but two of the most common are supervised or unsupervised models. We decided to go as a first approximation on supervised and to avoid providing any labels to our model. As you know, sometimes in some domains, it's very difficult to get labels for a certain particular problem. So we decided to go unsupervised. And our main goal is to create a general model, a general pipeline, okay, where we can detect anomalies across different types of vehicles, systems, and components. So the idea here is to try to build one model, one pipeline for different needs. Let me give you an example. Let's imagine that you want to develop, you want to detect failures in the starter battery system and in the HVAC system. One strategy could be to develop ad hoc models for these two problems, right? So two different pipelines with different data acquisition, different feature engineering, different modeling, etc., etc. We decided to go another route and to try to build something where we can plug in different components, meaning the starter battery or the HVAC, and tuning some parameters, we can use the same pipeline. Why doing that? Of course, because we'd like to have a fast development cycle and deployment cycle. while keeping, for instance, the number of false positive rate low. Before going to a concrete example, let me give you a technical overview of what are the main steps of our framework. So the first step is to define a group of similar entities. For instance, the same client, the same brand, the same vehicle model, etc., etc. Why do that? Because as we said before, to define what is an anomaly, we need to define what is the standard behavior of a certain group of vehicles, okay? A group of vehicles, but also in other domains might be something else. So that definition is really important. Then we need to define the sensors that we want to use, for instance, the oil temperature, the oil pressure, the voltage of the battery sensor, etc. And then we fix some parameters. The second step is, once the model has been trained for that particular rule or component, we can run the anomaly detection pipeline for every component, for every vehicle, for every day. And we'll get what we call an anomaly score. The score will go from 0 to 1, essentially. And that will give us an indication of how that component is performing for that vehicle on the considered day. Finally, the last step is that for every vehicle with a score above a certain threshold, we can open a case to be reviewed by our analysts, or we can send it directly to our clients. But to make things more concrete, let me give you a real-world example. It is the following. It's a one-dimensional example, so we have only one feature. And the feature comes from the oil temperature of our vehicles, of the vehicles in our fleet. Okay, so what you are looking at here is the distribution of the oil temperature for all Mercedes 0500 and for all Iveco Crossway. Okay, and in particular here we are looking at the maximum value of the oil temperature over 15 days. And as you can see, different groups gives us different distributions, right? Because look here, we have an average of around 106, 107, while here we have an average that's going to be around here, 94, 95, 96. So you can see that different groups have different needs, and what is an anomaly for the first group might not be an anomaly for the second group, right? Because in this case, a temperature above 115, 120 will be flagged as a nice score. Well, here a temperature of above 100 or 104 has to be flagged as a nice score. And this is very different from a fixed static threshold. Imagine that we decide, okay, all values around above 110 are anomalies. This doesn't work, right? Because this can give us a value here, but here it's not even in the range for the data of this vehicle. And one could think that we can apply a fixed threshold for every group, but that's too expensive in terms of analysis and in terms of study of the different groups, right? So we want to build a machine learning model to detect what are the anomalies for the different groups, okay? So that's what we do here. The Stratio Anomaly Detection Framework detects anomalies across different groups. And what is the output? So once the model is trained over a certain historical data, we can use them on a daily basis for every vehicle. And the output of the model is a score from 0 to 1 for every vehicle for every day. And 0 represents a behavior that is very common, while 1 represents a very anomalous vehicle in respect to peers. Okay, so of course, we have more vehicles that behave in a good way, let's say, and few vehicles that behave in a strange way. Finally, for every different rule, we can fix a threshold, and above the threshold, if a vehicle goes above the threshold for the day, an alert is sent to the client, so for review. For instance, we can set it at 0.9, and then this threshold can be changed over time, depending on what we need to achieve for that particular rule. In our example here, we have different averages for different groups. The distributions are different. The model understands that and understands that what is an anomaly for the first group might not be an anomaly for the second group, okay? So vehicles with very different behaviors from peers are flagged as anomalies. This is a one-dimensional example, but of course it can be generalized to multiple sensors. For instance, we might create a rule with the oil temperature, with the oil pressure, with the engine RPM, and create a more complex and broader vision. And in that sense, what is an anomaly will be discovered in a multidimensional feature space. Some examples of what we already have and productized rules are, for instance, the starter battery that I mentioned before, the HVAC system, oil temperature, oil pressure, or the emission system with the DPF. Now, how do we productize this pipeline, and what are the tools that we use for that? I will leave it the word to Ish.
Okay, thank you, Giorgio, for your presentation. So I will do a brief overview on how we are productizing this pipeline. We chose to use this orchestration framework called Flyte. It offers us a way to build modular code grouped into workflows and tasks, being tasks being grouped inside of workflows as a smaller unit of code. It allows us an easy way to scale our code according to our needs. It offers also failure recovery and a great deal of observability functions that we can then introduce into every single step of the framework and of the pipeline that allow us to understand what's happening inside the code. Finally, it also allows us the way to use either Ray or Spark via plugins, which is a great plus. So I'll just go over how we have the actual pipeline structured. Since we are dealing with a monorepo for the pipeline, we define a model or a rule as a YAML config, depending on which PID sensor data we want to fetch according to the actual rule that we are building. So the second step is actually fetching the thresholds that we set for every single vehicle inside of every single partition, being a partition, as Giorgio defined, a group of vehicles for a specific brand or model. We have two different thresholds set, one that is for predictions that have a critical value and are most likely a failure, and a lower threshold that allows us to send cases for an analyst review so we can better understand if the model is working properly and double check our values. So the rest of the pipeline is generic machine learning pipeline, if you are familiar with that. So you have the raw data collection step, then we do some feature engineering on these values, and finally the training or inference stage where we actually get the score and the prediction of the model, then followed by the actual persistence and sending out these predictions to our clients. Okay, this is the actual landing page that you see on Flyte once you check a specific run. Here you can highlight several different steps of the pipeline, and you can drill down to see by task specific information. For instance, the runtime on on each step. You can go a bit further down and into more detail with that as well. So we finally we are going to talk about a bit of how we are using the Flyte's capabilities on observability into our favor. We introduced them into separate steps of the pipeline. For instance, on the final step on the prediction stage, we can see on the left a brief summary of how the run went, which type of predictions we generate, and the actual amount, total amount, and we can see if there is probably a problem during our run by just looking at this. Here's another panel to the right where we can see the overall distribution of the scores for this run. Flyte also allows us to use inject tables and other type of graphs into this functionality, which is very useful. So regarding how we actually have this deployed infrastructure-wise, and how what is our development flow, mainly since Flyte allows us to run our code locally as it was for a regular Python project, the analysts build rules using that, and they can, when they are happy with the final product, we introduce GitKraken to manage our commit labels. Once we generate a label with a specific format, for instance, if you are releasing a release candidate tag, this will be checked by our CI/CD pipelines from GitLab that then will send out the actual deployment into our staging cluster, if that's the case, or our productive cluster. Yeah, that's pretty much the workflow that we are using, and it's sped up the capabilities of our deployment in a great deal. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Luís. And just to conclude this presentation, we want those are the main takeaway from this presentation. At Stratio, we do predictive maintenance, and we built a general anomaly detection system that is suitable and compatible with different system and components, as well as for different type of vehicles and operations. We productize this framework using Flyte and with the help of GitKraken. So thank you very much for your time and have a great continuation of the conference.
Thank you, everyone.